American musician, innovator, and inventor who changed the recording industry forever and actually helped father the new genre of music. In 1915, Les Paul was born in Waukesha, Wisconsin, to German immigrant parents. He had an early interest in music. He started playing the harmonica at age 7, and then he picked up the banjo and also the piano. And he had a piano teacher that sent a note home to his mom saying that she was wasting her time sending her son to lessons because he would never be a musician. By age 9, Les had picked up his first guitar. He started his music career at age 13 at a local drive-in in Wisconsin. After that, he played any venue that would let him play. He played at Lions clubs, he played at local county fairs, he played at other restaurants. At age 17, he dropped out of high school and moved to St. Louis to pursue a music career. He started playing on regional radio stations, playing pop and country music, and he also played jazz in the local nightclubs. At that point in his career, he was about in his mid to late 20s, and he was unhappy with a lot of the music that he was making. He was unhappy with the sounds of his records. So he started to innovate different recording techniques that are still used today, such as overdubbing and multi-track recording. One of the other things that he was unhappy about was the sound that his guitar made. I mean, he was playing an electric acoustic guitar, and he didn't like the fact that there were 2 vibrations. And he actually told Jim O'Donnell, who writes for Rock and Roll Journal in 2005, that he wanted a guitar that had 1 vibration, 1 sound, and the sound was actually sustained a little bit longer. So we started the process of making the first solid body electric guitar, and the prototype was called the Log. And the reason why it was called the Log, it was made out of a 4x4 chunk of wood that just had like a bridge and acoustic guitar neck and some pickups that were attached to it. And 41, he took his invention to Gibson, and they basically laughed at him. They said it looked like a broomstick with pickups and that it would never catch on because then musicians would have to carry around 2 guitars. Well, about 7 years later, Leo Fender released the first mass-produced solid body electric guitar, the Telecaster. 3 years after that, Gibson finally released the first Les Paul. In the interim, he had a couple of near-death experiences that are kind of interesting. He was always interested in electricity, so at one point, I think it was 42, he stuck his hand in a transistor radio and electrocuted himself. It took him about a year to recover. And then in 1948, on his way back from Wisconsin to his where he was currently living in LA, he was driving through Davenport, Oklahoma on Route 66, and him and his wife, there were icy road conditions, and they slid off a bridge, fell a significant distance, and rolled several times. It was a near fatal experience, and once he got to the hospital, Presbyterian, Oklahoma City, he found out that he had shattered his entire right arm and his elbow. The surgeons gave him 2 options at that point. They said that he could have it amputated or he could have his elbow fused in one spot. Well, I don't think he was very confident in the level of healthcare in Oklahoma City in 1948, so he flew in surgeons from Los Angeles and told them, to fuse his arm at a slightly greater than 90-degree angle so he could cradle his guitar and still strum the strings. And he was like that for the rest of his life. In his later years, he just continued to improve and, constantly worked, or released albums and performed. And there's several notable guitarists that, credit him for their inspiration. He was finally recognized for his accomplishments in 1988 by induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and continued to play live performances. His last one, he was actually 94 years old. It was 3 weeks before he died of complications of pneumonia On August 13th, 2009, Les Paul died, but his legend will live on forever through the music of rock and roll and the sound of the electric guitar.